Hi, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Sadaf Khalid, the host for today's show, joining all the way from Islamabad, Pakistan. We are running a campaign which is called It's For You, which is happening in Dubai from 1st to 12th December. Hi, Inger. I welcome you also, my colleague. She's joining us all the way from Oslo. How are we doing today? All geared up for a very packed session.
Yes, it will be very exciting today. It's really going to be great because we are going to talk about media and we're going to talk about communication and how we can create a positive news that is providing us with inspiration and providing us with bright ideas. We'll talk about climate justice, we'll talk about football, we'll talk about trees. I think we're going to cover more or less everything that is related to climate change. And it's going to be a million stories and a billion outreach. And here is also our friend Irum Fawad from Pakistan, also one of the hosting team. We're talking about the media outreach, Irum, and we're ready to host the story from where it started today in Kenya. So welcome to you, Irum. Say hello to the people around the globe.
So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. We are a team. It's for you, it's for me, and it's for everyone. How are you, everyone? I guess you're doing fabulous job. I've been watching you all day, and I guess the two fabulous power ladies are doing something amazing. I thought, why should I not be there? So this is what it is. Yeah. So, how are you
Thank you,
feeling,
Iram.
Sada?
I'm okay, but thank you, Iram, joining us, tuning our my co-host for today. We'll be running this session from Pakistan time, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And Iram is joining us all the way from Karachi, Islamabad. So let me announce the agenda for today. So first of all, Inger, I would like to introduce my very dear colleague, Kaka, who's joining us all the way from Kenya, Nairobi. He's the president of the East Africa Network, EGCN. And I've seen his work. He's brilliant. When he talks, it's just amazing to hear his story. I would like Inger now to formally play his introduction with you
Yes,
and hear
uh,
from Kaka's story from all the way Nairobi, Kenya.
yes. Let's start and let's fly. Let's get ideas fly. Let's start the show.
You are human and just stop being the reason why nature ain't healing. Good does not come from having good intentions.
Welcome, Kaka, all the way from Nairobi, Kenya.
But good comes from
So,
accepting that the dreaming of
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. Um,
okay, so let's hear your story. I want to know how you met David, Inger, and Richard. What was the inspiration? Why did you join the It's For You campaign that we're running for 12 Days of COP, which is happening in Dubai? We would like to hear your story. Yes, Kaka, over to you.
yeah, so thank you so much, Sadaf. I really take this moment to appreciate all of you, and I would love, first of all, to say, good morning, good evening, and also good afternoon, and good evening to everybody who is following us live on session, and also to our esteemed, host team. Irum, it's really nice seeing you. Inga as well. Sadaf, really, it's been amazing catching up with you. It's been a while. And I need to say thank you for having me here. Sometimes it becomes very hard sometimes to appear here, but it is just because of the nature how things work. And what defined me and where I come from is that I'm a pastoralist. So today I might be in Nairobi, the following day I might be in Sudan looking for water for animals. So you'll excuse me if I will not appear more frequently. Uh, but jumping into this, it's really been an amazing journey for me. First of all, as I was growing up as a young boy in the village, growing all the way to like where I am now as a final year law student here in Nairobi, the University of Nairobi. And I want to say, since I was growing as a young person, I've always been having passion on what I do mostly. And what basically indulged me into the climate space basically is my background, where I come from, which is what speaks out loud on what you exactly need to, some sort of way all of us are affected in a way. And if our livelihoods are affected, then it forces us to take different kind of shape and different kind of stories and different kind of narratives. And my background, basically, I come from the indigenous community, the Maasai, who occupy some, most of the dry places here in Kenya, the northern part, the south central part of Kenya, and also stretched down to Tanzania. And our mode of way of living is basically we survive with animals, that is goats, sheep, camels, donkeys. That's our narrative. And then so that's my background. And at around back in 2019, we had the longest dry spell here in Kenya, the longest drought that hit the country for over 3 years. And we my family particularly, we lost about 230 cows back here home. I always give it as a story and an inspirational, because if you go to my tweet, I had pinned the tweet on my Twitter account. You can be able to see the bulk of animals at my back. They are all dead because there is no pasture, there is no water for them to survive. So then that forced me to take a different angle on how I view everything, back from my parents, back in the village, and back to everybody else, on what exactly can you do to ensure that at least life and survival continues, in terms of how do we create livelihoods, how do we put food on the table across the street from where every dollar counts. And so I decided a couple of startups. There was a CBO that I was running in the village. It was called Earth Science Agency Kenya, ESA. And what we did is we were doing a lot of mobilization, a lot of sensitization with our communities. I've indulged into like the Maasai women with the bidding work that they do with other startups. I work with the banks. Famously, we worked with Equity Bank, Absa, and many other couple of banks with the initiative that we have. I pushed this to start table banking for women, whereby they could save and borrow money at the same time, take their kids to school. And that's how my story began. And back in 2020, we merged forces from my clubs in the University of Nairobi, where I took my law, and also other students from different startups. So when we thought that we should basically make this a little bit larger, and that is how we ended up coming up with the East Africa Campuses and Colleges Green Network, which is now a network within East Africa, and that's how ESCCGN was born. And then in 2020, around September, there we've been sharing this online, and we had garnered a lot of numbers, particularly in participating in different high level of events. I was appointed in a couple of platforms to represent different young people in different climate platforms. I was appointed as the Climate Clock Lead Kenya. That was my first appointment in climate space, which was really, really an amazing thing. And when we were having the countdown with the Climate Emergency Day, which was organized by Climate Clock, we also running concurrently with the activities that are happening in East Africa Campuses and Colleges Green Network. So we decided to do a media release, and what the main ideas that we're telling people is basically you'll find that in many ways, and I'll say this deliberately because this is what is happening in the whole world. Just like the way children that are defined like with our laws and everything, that sometimes they are nonpartisan in terms of decision making. The youth are normally left out in so many platforms in terms of what affects them and in terms of what exactly decision looks like for them. And I felt like we really need to have a platform, because the only way we can be able to share our demands, our the issues that also affect us is when we can be able to get a platform to be able to air our views. And then through that, I was given a role in the Ministry of Environment by the newly elected the CS, Cabinet Secretary for Environment. I was given a role to work with African Youth Climate Assembly, that is AYCA, which was a precursor for the young people to act for the African Climate Summit. And through this, we got a very good opportunity to be able to bring different stakeholders, the indigenous people, the technology people, different startups, and we were able to put our minds together on the things that affect us and forge them to make one document which actually has got a legal binding status that was supposed to be adopted by the heads of state in Africa. So when the chairperson for the African Union calls me, I was really amazed. It was it was an amazement because I did not expect like such kind of a call. And when we did this, we did a declaration for about 2 pages, and this was to be actively participating in ACS. So when we did the launch for East Africa Campuses and Colleges Green Network, I had already met with David and Richard, and that is the first time that David came to Kenya for the launch of East Africa Campus and Colleges Green Network. And that is the first time he came to Kenya, and we did lots of things. We were having a lot of engagement, both online and also physical. We had a very high-level event attended by a couple of organizations, Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance, PACJA, which is one of the biggest organizations now in Africa that are forging humanity and also climate justice crisis that they are addressing onto the same. We also had the CS for Ministry of Youth Affairs and the Sports and the Youth Affairs, so being in the attendance in that particular meeting. And it was an amazing journey. Through we were able to now participate in the African Climate Summit between 6th and the 8th of September here in Kenya. I hope we all know or maybe have participated also in some ways. And we'd got a couple of side events that we were doing in relations to what the 5 thematic group areas that you're working on. We had the loss and damage, we had the blue economy, we had the business community engagement, we had the sustainable and renewable energy sector, and all these were coming through one platform. So then we decided like we are going to do a side event also for as the ACS goes on, and we decided to call this, we termed it as It's For You particular campaign, and this was happening in a Bombolas Memorial Park in Nairobi, Kenya.
Yes.
And that is when now we had David, actively participating. He came back to Kenya for the second time. We've been having lots of talk with him while he was back in the UK. And one of the biggest things that normally inspires me is one of the quotes from Albert Einstein, which he says, I fear the day when the technology overlaps with our humanity, and the world will only have a generation of idiots. That's what Albert Einstein put it in his quote. Mm-hmm. And therefore, when we don't have that aspect of humanity coexisting between us and different people in the whole world, then it becomes useless for our existence as well, because I should be able to be mindful of someone flying from Pakistan or flying from another part of the world. I should be able to really be mindful of how they do their things, how they that dignity of humanity should always come first. So that's how I met David, and the ESCGN got lots of engagement across different countries in East Africa. And it has been really a very long journey, to say so. And then I also remember that I had tabled a petition for East Africa crude oil pipeline in Tanzania, Arusha, under ESCJ, that is East African Court of Justice. This is a petition that got the most viewed and actually reacted by the president of Rwanda, Kagame. And it was an amazing thing. Yeah. So that's my journey. That's my journey.
Yeah, I can see you're smiling. You're proud, and I'm proud as well. I feel proud, Sadaf, being in this on this call. Yeah.
Hearing Kaka, I mean, that's what It's For You campaign is. We're giving them a voice. And African voice matters a lot when it comes to climate challenges. So, Kaka, my next question to you would be, because we're running a parallel COP28, which is happening in Dubai. Are you following the news? Are your friends there? What's your take on COP28? What expectations do you have from your political leaders, the decision makers, that they're contributing. Larry joined us live yesterday from Dubai. So many people from Pakistan have been. So, what's your stance on COP? Would you like if you were to give it a chance, would you attend COP 28 right now in Dubai? I want to hear your story.
Yes. Oh,
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks a lot. First of all, let me say, I would love also, first of all, to basically highlight the position of African in COP, because African Climate Summit outlined, it was the first ever meeting that was held in Africa to bring all the heads of state in Africa to have one agreement and one speaking in one voice. It has never happened before, and I really appreciate my president, His Excellency Rutos, because since he was elected as the president and also got to be a member of African Union Board, I think through that he was able to forge his way out to make sure that we have got, as an African and the global South, are speaking from one particular voice. And what I would say is, the reason why the COP really is also key into the African continent is because of the nature and everything that exists within our borders across and in interstates. And what one thing I will say is that whatever conversion goes for the African context is that there's an aspect of breach of contract for so many things that has been happening across, in terms of the Paris Agreement had really stipulated and given really an outline on how the countries and interstate are supposed to be working all through. Article 9 of the Paris Agreement speaks about, for instance, climate financing, which has been really the biggest conversion from the COP26 back in Glasgow all the way to Sharm el Sheikh. So it has been really a big conversation into African
yes.
kind of a dialogue. And I remember that during the African Climate Summit, that is when the aspect of the GCF was strongly introduced to Kenya and even to other parts of the African kind of engagement. And what I will say is, whatever I'm following from COP28, I have not managed to go there, but I'm following every aspect that is going on there. And I can be able to say that in some extent, we have some kind of positive news, because if the idea of the loss and damage is going to be like implemented as per what the Jabbar said as the host of presidency for COP28, then it is going to be like really a good thing for the African people in terms of trying to create a mitigation and adaptation funds. And I concur. Many of us might not be in agreement of the climate financing. People say there's no climate finance, but for sure Africa is really like in that particular context whereby from developed countries, the agreement on what was supposed to be put in terms of degrees, the 4 degrees Celsius greenhouse emission was really a big conversation, and that's so far coming out clearly that the news says that the agreement into this. The other part is that I am happy about basically COP is that, okay, it have given the young people the participation. Yesterday I was talking to my friend who is a climate activist, Kemo Fati from Gambia, who has been working with UNEP for some time here in Kenya, and he was able also to be able to share some of the things that the young people are going. So in terms of giving them the platform, I can be able to say it is coming out clearly, and it is going to give us that upfront engagement that we need to have.
That's brilliant, Kaka. So I want to bring in the conversations like knowledge sharing as I talked since day one. My colleague Iram Fawad is here. She's a women entrepreneur. She's in. Can I ask just to mute your mic because I can hear an echo? So, um, how can people like Iram, who is a master trainer, can help the African region? Especially my focus is because we all are females and we talk about gender equality to help the indigenous communities back in Africa region. We talk about digital innovation. We're having this COP 28 all digitally. Kaka, how would you want people like Iram to start training workshops to empower the females of Africa? And Iram, I'll come back to you because Iram is an international trainer as well. She has been doing trainings. We did a project with Ghana as well. When we were working on sustainable development goals, it was a great success story. We helped them make a plan how to make bags from plastic bags. So I want, it's just not that we come here on stage and talk. We are talking about projects. We're talking about uh, empowering each other for climate change. That's our whole campaign about. So before Kaka responds, I would like Iram to bring, I'll bring Iram into conversation and her expertise, what Iram is offering to African region to help the indigenous voice of those females, that we can empower them.
Thank you very much, Sadaf and Inger. Now, firstly, this is an amazing question you asked because, the synergizing of entire energies is the solution to everything. I guess sustainability comes when you just stand together. I guess as being a human being, it's our duty to deliver the knowledge that you have, and whatever you have learned and are getting some money from it or anything else, that one blessing of God, you are just having one, you need to deliver it to the future generation. This is your duty as you're human. I guess like it's been many years together with Sadaf and Inger, and we've been teaching with different of the continents over there. But yeah, Ghana, we did a little bit. SDG4 education on digital and many other things to empower women as well, as per Wi-Fi courses and many other courses that we can offer to the region of Africa. So I guess that what kind of knowledge I can deliver, I'm all ready and all enthusiastic to work with all of the African region as well. If they are serious enough, we can talk afterwards as well. And yeah, definitely there is a possibility of synergizing each other. And then let's see what we can do because
So
empowering.
it's been amazing to work with you, Erim. It's been so nice. And I
Thank you
know
so
that
much.
Kaka and his team and his young youth and the young leaders of African continent are ready to empower themselves and to fly with ideas and to get projects funded and to make those initiatives come true. So over to you, Kaka. This is it's for you. This initiatives for all of us.
Okay, so if you, I would love to refer you back to the talks that happens. I think these are things are available on the recording, um, in as a conversion are going live in COP. There's a conversion that was done yesterday, not yesterday, 2 days ago, with the issue and the idea of speeding the deployment of the climate capital. And allow me to say this because we all come from countries that has got leadership with presidents and everybody else, and this is how powers are created, and this is how laws are created also. If you do not have, the biggest power that exists is basically for us to go in line with what this interstate works and what they do, because according to the international public law, there's a way the interstates works together. And just as per what the conversion goes on there, I am aware that not everybody will make their way to COP28 or any other COP that is coming up soon, but everybody will have to put food on the table. Everybody will have to go to school. Everybody will have to wear clothes and stay warm and have shelter. But COP will not accommodate everybody. One of my biggest experience for the few years that I've been in this space is nothing really empowers people if there is some sort of an economy aspect into their lives. And through that, I'm a staunch believer of action, faith. And I always define myself as I'm a believer on the cross and on the clock. Those are the two factors that really define me. Because one, I believe on the clock, because as we all know, time waits for no one. And of course, I have the other side of the faith that defines everybody in terms of the way we all are, exist. So what I will say is, what the thing that I think for what Sadaf have raised in terms of like what Irum has been doing, she there's so much spaces that we can get into, and I can be able to say that I can share as a good example of what we did back in the village in terms of we have this aspect of women back in where I come from, that they engage in activities of burning charcoal. And this is where the point I want to, like, Irum to hear on how she can be able to come out well, maybe even after the campaign is over and all that. So we because of the nature of ways, we have got indigenous trees that exist over 100 years, and people cut them down for charcoal. And I myself and Philip, we had a call yesterday with them concerning the water for Masai. What we did is we realized that no sooner or later we're going to lose these trees, and they are really long hardwood trees that have stayed over 50 years, 100 years, and they're getting lost because people are cutting down for charcoal. So what we did is we first of all to think and realize what else additionally apart from charcoal can these people engage in terms of creating money, creating livelihoods to take their kids to school and all that. And what we did is we realized that the Maasai women are very talented in terms of beadwork. And what we did is we did a research. I'm a good researcher, and after doing the research, the response was, yeah, we do the bidding, but the problem is we do not have the market. And what we did is go away, look for the market. And what we did in areas like Mombasa, where people go and have leisure during the holidays, like in Mombasa coast region, we will sell these beads in sort of societies and circles. And through that, we give back these women money. And today we have got a very strong testimonial of how money have been flowing into them. Some of them have got their children graduating from school, and so many other aspects. So this is some of the areas that really need education in terms of, if it is the pastoral communities, for example, how can they reduce the number of livestock, for example? How can they integrate animals and other sources of livelihoods, for example? Can we have long drought tolerant crops like the cassava, like animals like camels, which can go a long way without water, for example, which can take a place of animals. So there are so many things that these people really need education on. This can happen either virtually or even physically. You can always find your way to visit in Kenya and do all this. And this is what ECCGN aims to do. We aims to come with a hub that can be able to bring solutions, techno-vision solutions that can be able to favor everybody back in their villages and help them to create a livelihood.
That's amazing, Kaka. That's what I say, and Inger, that it's this whole climate debate what's happening around the globe. There's so much interesting stories to learn from each other and empower each other. Because if we don't do it together, the Mother Earth, I don't know how it will look after 10, 15 years. So
Yep.
I'm going to invite our special guest who's joined us all the way from Italy. Inger, I would like you to introduce him, and let's hear him on stage and take the conversation further. I welcome Uri. I hope I'm pronouncing his name well. He's going to be talking about the media perspective, what's happening in Dubai, COP28. Are you following it? You're hearing our conversations. Please introduce yourself, and we want to hear your story as well.
Yes, welcome, Ure. It's really nice to see you here. We've been working together on Imagine Action, and many of the hours we spent together, you've been my source of inspiration, and we've been opening up creative doors, creative activism and actions, and imagine what dreams and ideas can bring forward. Your map is big, so tell us about your work and life both in Italy and around the globe. So Imagine Actions and Bama Maps. What is it, Uri?
Yeah, thank you so much for this invitation, and I'm glad to be connected with all of you here. So actually, I live in Italy for over 10 years, but I was born in Israel, Palestine, and yes, my heart is there as well at these days. And I think I last the COP that I visited was in Paris in 2015 in person. It was the most successful one,
You
and
should come back.
I came there as an artist, and we did all sorts of crazy artwork, and it was an amazingly creative COP. And I believe that one of the reasons of success of that COP, it was the only COP in which there was an agreement arrived, which was actually let's say not some of the agreements that in other COPs arrived were just a joke, I would say, but so there was The problem then, there was no follow up, or you know the story of the United States, or so leaving the Accords and so on. But anyway, I was there as an activist and an artist, and I can tell you that there was some amazing work happening outside of the blue or whatever zones that was in the streets of Paris, that were really shifting energies. And you might remember it was just after very terrible attacks in Bataclan in Paris. So the city was also in a sort of situation of grief. And yeah, I can spend hours telling about the crazy stuff that happened there. But what I want to share, that I believe in art and theater as a way of transforming oneself and behaviors, and changing the world one person at a time. So that's what I'm focused on. And with Inger-Mette, we did do all sorts of online experiments during the Glasgow COP and so on. Yeah, yeah, and I made a little presentation and video to share more about the work we've done and wanting to do right now with Positive News, and
I will,
maybe you can
I
share
will
that.
share, I will share it.
And this is a prototype, so I hope it will work. Yes.
In the voice of the waters, ah, whoosh. When the fire's voice is heard, 'tis the ancestors' breath. In the voice of the waters, ah, whoosh. Ah, whoosh.
Yeah, I think you need to move to the next slide, because I didn't. So after one, so you need to. You see it?
Yes, I tell you something, Uri. I'll download it and take it as a complete slides, if it's okay for you.
Or otherwise, I can share it.
Or yeah, take a lead and share it if you have control over your slides.
Yeah, I can. I have it now as a video, so I
Yeah,
can
that's
share. Let
better.
me just figure out
Take it as
how
a
I
video,
share.
and you can speak on top of it, so it's perfect. So this is
It's
the
very
artist.
important. Yeah, Inger, I like it's very important, the media perspective, because media plays a very important role internationally. How they're looking at these cops, what are they observing, their views, and big channels like CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, they're all covering it, and they have been giving coverage for climate change, helping them raise issues, and also with the documentaries. So, media perspective, I think, for cultural dialogues and cultural diplomacy is very important as well. Let's bring our other guest, Mr. Jinnah, in the meantime. Mr. Jinnah is joining us from all the way from Karachi, Pakistan. He's been intensively working on sustainable development goals, and we would like to hear his story on emerging technologies, how emerging technologies can play a very important role for climate change. And Mr. Jinnah has been conducting Fridays for Pakistan, which me and Iram and Inger have been part. Hi, Mr. Jinnah, how are you?
Hi, Sadaf. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Am I
Yes,
audible?
we can.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got all those wonderful ladies there, and all of them is my inspiration. I've
Thank
been,
you.
working with them for last, I think probably a couple of years, and Irum, Inger, and Sadaf. And because of Inger, I was involved in SDGs, because the World Climate School Norway, uh, he gave me the invitation. So I just like to share one good story, and then I'll come to the topic. When I was asked to do Friday for Pakistan, the Hans was there, and initially, I was asked to do a couple of, like, a one or two programs, and everyone, in Karachi, they discourage me. They say is a very, very dry subject. The SDGs, people are not aware of it. and working about the climate change, people won't pay any attention. But because of Hans and Inger and Sadaf and Iram, everyone, we took the chance and we did a 1 or 2 program. And last Friday I did 159th program because the people got so, yeah, that's it's club, it's for everyone. So the idea was to tell people about the environment. Now we have the SDGs. We have goal number 7 and 13, which is particularly about the environment, the green energy, and the climate change. And again, it's a very very sensitive issue because what the Barack Obama said once, like this is we are the last nation who are facing it, and then first nation to facing it, and will be the last nation who can do something about it. So that's why I come into this arena and start working on the awareness program. And because in Pakistan or the countries like us or Southeast Asia or the nearby countries, we have a very strong legacy, and because of that legacy, we don't sort of adopt things. We don't want to change, and because of that, people are not taking the climate seriously. They think is a well, it's an act of God, but yeah, but still, you need to do your working. You need to do your homework first. So, during those, like a couple of years ago, I read one article in the leading newspaper in Pakistan, and it was reading as that Karachi, where I belongs to, the Karachi may sink into oceans by 2060. That was very very alarming, and I thought maybe some those the fanatic people got this kind of thing. But when I read the article, it has a some supporting document also. So and it was submit to the Senate also, the the higher court of the higher legislation authority in Pakistan. So
Sorry
I
to interrupt, Mr. Juna. Coming back to that, you were talking about it. Iram, recall on a lighter note. We were having these preparation for the STD Silk Road Summit, and Mr. Juna used to say, "Karachi is going to sing. Karachi is going to sing. Do something, do something." And then what happened was, I was in my northern parts in
And
Kalam,
one day,
mission,
no,
and
share.
Karachi had rains, and Karachi literally sank. And Iram called me. Karachi was out for 5 days, no internet, no electricity, and me and Iram were laughing,
Because
Mr.
Jinnah
Juna.
thought of it.
This is
Jinnah
why
dreamt
this
of
was
it, and that's what happened.
and
Absolutely.
yeah,
That was a
I
good
live near
joke.
the
That
But
was a
yeah,
but what you're saying here is something on media. When nature speaks loud and the floods comes to Pakistan, it's in the news
bad.
everywhere. And Pakistan, that's why Pakistan is so important in this at COP, because you have a distinct voice. You come with integrity because nature is speaking on your behalf, and that's strong. But let us go also back to Uri, and to see if we are able to
yeah.
get his story online, and to say that artist has action, and that is an activism, that is a creativity, that is for all of us. We have to create these new stories, and we need the partnership with artists are brilliant on that one. So Uri, you can unmute
Yeah.
yourself, and just
Yes.
imagine.
Maybe I wanted to share a bit more about what this video and this idea of positive news and media. So um, I feel one of the, so as working as an educator, teaching in a university and working with young people and educators, I feel one of the problems I'm facing is people are very overwhelmed by what's everything that is going on in a way that is paralyzing. So we are and it's a paradox right now. I feel that the more we speak about climate change, the more people become paralyzed, and or anything else, and that's a paradox. And I feel the paradox, how we solve this paradox, is we change the way we speak about it. Because right now, and that's not just about climate change, when we speak about the war in Palestine, in Israel, or everywhere in Ukraine, Russia, the kind of news or the kind of language or myths that we are reaching out to puts us on a very sensational kind of vibration, which can easily be emotionally overwhelming. And what happens in that case is that we close down. And that's even stronger with young people, especially young people that are very connected with devices, which is most of young people now. They are constantly sort of bombarded by images, very strong images. And how do we create, let's say, positive news, which for me, positive is people planet oriented, that's PO, positive, socially innovative, transformative ideas that create vivid engagement. So we want to create a situation where people are vividly engaged, that they are empowered in that sense with what's happening in the world, not overwhelmed and kind of crushed by what now is being called climate anxiety or social polarization. But doing the retreat I was doing, the other, it seemed like climate paralyzation. So the paralyzation of the polarization and the anxiety together, creating this on a system level, but also on the individual level. So how can art and theater? So there is several things we could do. I've been doing some work on the streets of this Italian town the other week, and we were engaging people with image theater and theater as a way of investigating and sharing what do they feel about climate paralyzation or polarization or all of that. And just seeing that in the body and embodying and voicing that was very transformative for them and for us. Um, I put this video. I can try to share the screen again. I don't know if it would work, but or you can share it. But this is just a little bit of
Yes,
also the online work that we've been doing.
please share it, Uri. You try to share from your side. I do have a backup if it is something happening here, and I will add it to the
Okay,
stage.
do you see
Yes, we do see it.
in the green? Okay, so I'll try and play. So the first minute is about, you will also find Inger-Mette there. It's some of the
Yes,
voicing
it's a
afterward, and
absolutely.
then you'll see some of kind of the questions that I'm holding now.
In the voice of the waters, ah, whoosh. When the fire's voice is heard, 'tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters, ah, whoosh, ah, whoosh.
Noticing our sitting, our connection to the earth, feeling our weight, feeling the support of the earth.
It's a morning. It's a morning. It's a morning.
I went to the ocean to remember that the ocean is reflected in me.
Uri, we're not hearing any sound right now, but I am not sure if it should
Yes,
be.
yes. This is and the invitation was to connect with the ocean. And if you connect with the ocean, what will the ocean have to say? And maybe I'll stop here, so I'll stay a little bit in this
No,
image.
it's
Of,
beautiful. The how to imagine what the ocean would say if they spoke to us humans. That is like putting
yes,
yourself in the art of being ocean.
yes. And the idea is that ocean is something we are as well. So we are mostly made of water, and where we come from as a living organisms. And so connecting with the ocean. So what would be a positive news production of voicing oceans is that the first step will be to connect with the ocean as an embodied experience. And then maybe you can imagine as an ocean, what will the ocean have to say to youth? And imagine that conversation of, with the youth answers to the ocean. And then imagine what will youth and ocean say to us all. So that would be a sensing together of the youth and the ocean speaking together. That's inviting us to that possibility. And then finally, the third step is to share your dreams. This is from Bama Maps, which is a platform we're developing about inspiring by being inspired by nature. And I'll stop the screen share. But there was a little bit of a kind of where I am, where we are in kind of sensing into this idea of positive news and why or how we can create that for young people or for any people.
So, but you know, also the positive news, like coming together, like we do right now, is also taking the stand of being the news. You know, being the change we like to see happening in the world, and that is, you know, it's not easy to be going live stream and to present your authentic voice in the world, and to bring the dreams of the future into everyday life and living, and and Uri, you and I, we've been talking about mapping the whole planet with green footprints and the green walls, and you know, all the things that we have that can be voicing the green, educational blue story. It's like all colors are exploding these days. And look at our graphics here. It's like a an explosion of lights and positive news. So
Yes, and I want to add that positive news are not always happy news. You know, we don't need to make everything bright. You know, sometimes there's sad things that happen, and sometimes the sad things can get us engaged. But it's more about the impact. Is it positive for me? Is it in the end the vivid engagement? Is it generating engagement? Is it kind of creating more paralyzation? So the opposite of paralyzation in a way. So that's the approach. So how do we get people to be engaged and vividly engaged? And then yeah, the hearing. We can spend a lot of time hearing about what's going wrong in the world, and there is a lot of going wrong. But what is going right, and how we can somehow grow that spaces.
so
I think
ta-
it's a
yeah,
brilliant
please.
studio, Inger. I mean, for me, because I follow international news a lot, I used to be a news addict at one point, and it creates an impact on your mind if there's too much negativity, even if it's international news not relating to climate. My question to Uri will be that how can people like you, because now we're talking about digital innovation, this virtual cop that we are taking place, technology has been amazing, all these social media platforms, we've got this YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, there's so much to catch up. And Inger and me have been sharing different videos in our COP28. It creates an impact, even if it's a 1 minute video you're showing a girl from Afghanistan or a girl from Kenya talking about climate change. That creates an impact. The content, the story, the true story. So, how would you? I want you to comment. Media plays, as I said, a very important role. How can this scale up, and people who do not have the technology or don't have access to create these expensive videos, or even with a smartphone you can make these videos, what will be your suggestion to the youth or those voices who don't know to how to give them the platform to so that their stories can be heard?
Yeah, no, so what I feel is media has completely changed in the last 10, 15 years. And right now, the social media is the media, in that sense that the amount of content consumption that is happening on social media is overgrowing over the traditional media channels. And in a way, most people on the world have this access to not just a personal TV, but actually a personal filming studio. Yes, it's not the same as having like the professional whatever, but in many times in social media, it is the kind of raw material that actually gets more attention.
Absolutely.
So there is but that it's a double-sided sword. It's a double-sided sword, like we see right now. Because why is a double-sided sword? Because we seem to we become the producers of news, but we tend to fall into the same old stories, and actually to expand the negativity in a way. And then there is the algorithm, which is another, like a whole conversation of how the algorithm
Absolutely.
works, or how the algorithm is designed in a way to keep us in our bubbles, our information
Inner
bubbles.
bubbles, in the loop, in
Yeah,
the loop. So, but you know,
information
I would
bubbles.
like
But how do we break that? I think the question is, what I feel is the challenge is not technology. The challenge in not the technology is the story technology. So how do we create stories that are positive, truly positive? And again, it's not just about happy news, it's about something that gets people to change the way they're perceiving and engaging with the topic,
so,
in that case climate change.
so if you allow me, Sadaf and Irum and also Uri, I like to bring back the when Kaka was here in like a couple of minutes back, and I will share a couple of small bites from Kenya, and play some music so we can reflect a little bit how to fine tune, how to break out of the bubble. How can let's not talk about climate change, but let's talk about to reconnect with nature, the inner transformation. But let me share some here. So I like to get your feedback on 3 bites, and then and I will show you them to you. Here they comes.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Aldi from Kenya. You know what? It's for you.
And the next one.
Climate change affects our economy.
Welcome to Kikesen Sport Tournament.
It is for you. Welcome to Kikesen Sport Tournament.
It's for you.
It's for you. It's for you. It's for you. It's for everyone. So, Uri, you've been also working with artists across the African continent, and you still do, and also with immigrants coming to Italy. And what's your take on this? And I can see that you have to unmute yourself. I can see you're on silence.
Before
Yeah.
Uri responds, I would like Iram also to ask question, because Iram is a digital marketing friend who's very active. She's got about 17.k Facebook followers. Iram, your question to Uri.
Hi, Omi. I've been listening to all the things that you've been saying, and yes, I might say the media plays a crucial role and in educating, and either it is a negative one or a positive one. That's the crucial role that media plays. I think you agree on this one. But what we are portraying today is like this is also a part of media, portrayal over here of the it's for you, it's for me, and it's for everyone. So I guess I am from Pakistan, Karachi, and I'm into the digital thing as well, and I am doing the Facebook, social media creation, and many other things. And as being an influencer in different fields, I love to work like that because this is my style. So, Ori, just let us know that how do you think that what is the role of media in sustainability thing? How can we bring sustainability to media?
Yeah, so I first of all thank you also for seeing this nice video and hearing your question. I feel it's also about how we bring the voices, the lived experience. Okay, so one of the problems, the many problems of currently with the news, and is that it almost became a situation that people believe the news more than believe themselves. So the source of truth had become not something we experience, but something we hear about. And that's a problem. So just how do we go back to our lived experience as a source of news, so what's we are, and then also hearing from people. So I would love to also see the continuation of these videos in which the people that we see there is, they say it's for you, but they're also sharing their stories, the lived experience. So say
Yes.
I can kind of feel their story and their context without necessarily the filters that sometimes are created in that. And also there is always like a relation of power, when we see, when we look, when we film, especially in Africa. I remember going to Kenya, maybe 14 years old, and there was a tribe that we met, and they had a problem with taking photos, actually, because their belief it takes robs the soul. Then it was solved by paying them, which was, I think, not a good solution. But at the time, I wasn't really aware of this. But what I'm trying to say about climate change, going back to climate change, is I feel like going back to this idea that there is a sort of overwhelm or a paralyzation happening, and this creates different reactions from different stakeholders. So youth, young people, there could be anxious. Some other people are sort of kind of ignoring it, or even resisting it, so denial. So they have all sorts of reactions. Um, what is the role of media, or not just the media, just any of us as media reporters with a TV studio on our pockets, which is right now the situation, is how can I bring stories that get people to unparalyze? So to go into a place where they're not overwhelmed, but they find some way to move forward that is sustainable. And I think the answer there is different. There's not like a single answer of how to do that. I've been exploring different tools around ritual and actually grief work, and some of the necessity sometimes to
Yes.
actually to recognize the grief and the loss. So I feel one of the things that we need to do as humanity right now to move forward with climate change is to recognize that it's
But go
happening, and
come
we
from a
probably
step
are
that they
not going to be
try.
able to stop it.
With mission.
That's a big thing, that it's already happening, and we're probably not going to stop it. And to do really something, we need to kind of grieve our old way of living, because that's not
Absolutely.
like the whole way of living needs to go back to to the archive. And that's part of the thing, that in order to move forward, we need to be able to grieve what we have lost
But
and what we
also,
are going to lose.
yeah, but also that's true. We're going
Okay.
to lose, but we're also going to get something
Yes.
that's beautiful, hopefully, into the future. But the
Yes.
so many stories we told again and to bring forward. We'd like to even bring you back into our conversation and to tell more stories for us and to bring more to how we can learn from you, how we can engage with you. So what is your last kind of voicing your concern as an artist to
Yes.
treat
Oh,
leaders in
I,
COP?
I just want to say, so some years ago, not so far from I saw some parts of glimpses from the future. And what I saw is a world in climate chaos, but I would say it was a unified world.
Yes.
And for the young people, imagine living in a world that everyone in the world have a shared mission. Imagine the thrill of living in a world where it's a very exciting world, very difficult, but very exciting world. And that gave me a little bit of hope that the world that lying ahead might have a lot of challenges, but it will have some amazing adventure coming up
It's so
as
true.
well.
Uri, the mother of crisis is the mother of invention. So it's not only a praise and blessings to Mother Earth, it's the mother of invention, which is a crisis, and that inshallah will unite us. So thank you, Uri, for your time. We'll come back to you and we'll have more guests coming on. But let's listen. Let's listen to the music as you zoom in and zoom out.
Good
The
does
next
not
guest.
come from having good intentions, or even by acting on them. But good comes from accepting that the good
Dreaming of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now. Yeah.
Good originates from accepting that there are limits. Good comes from limits. Rethink those choices. Chunga vile una purchase. Think of your consumption. What's the point? I mean, transformational ownership is for you. It's for you, yeah. Are you ready now? Are you
Dreaming of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now.
Yeah, dancing in the rain. What gives you joy? Owning my challenges.
What gives you joy?
Being alive. What gives you joy? Having fun. Hey, 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 hey. T.O. Transformational ownership. Yeah. Hey yo, listen, everyone, you are welcome to the
Dreaming of a day, transform ourselves. Wow, it was nice. It was
It was a
nice.
brilliant discussion. Coming back to Mr. Jinnah. Mr. Jinnah, my question to you before we start the next session
Yes, yes, Sadaf.
is, what's Pakistan media doing for climate change, Mr. Jinnah?
I will tell you truth, they are making us worried. They, no, on a serious note.
Very true. Very true.
No, they are working on a lot of things. But thing is, things takes time. And yeah, please.
I
You want
think
to
we
add
should
something?
make a TV station. We are a TV station. We are a media
Yeah,
station. Yeah. It's nice.
true, very true.
So,
Yeah. So
Kaka,
the
So
things are we
if I may
just let me
say,
just add.
let
Just let me add one thing, and then you continue. In Pakistan, a lot of people working on SDGs and a lot of people working on climate change and etc. The only problem is they don't know they are actually working on it. They are working, but they don't know which goal it's they are working for. So this is one of the problem, and we are trying to address this issue. The people who have complete lot of things, for example, I give you very good example, right? See, this is the well, I can't see, you can't see the book. I have this book, right, and the book was completed But when I saw there's a no, SDGs goal, and they say, we are not aware of it. So I put all those goals, where they should be. So now the book is completed. So this is the one of the problem in Pakistan, and people, we should educate more so they know exactly what they're doing. Yes, Iram, please
Hiram,
continue.
Hiram, my question to you, will you start a climate channel for Pakistan?
Oh, why not? I love to do that. That's like amazing thing. You know me that you give me a task and I am the one who's doing it. Don't worry on this one because I have already meeting people regarding climate and many things. And yesterday I posted something on It's For You for Masood Lahar, Jinnah Saab's favorite hero. So you know what? Like I personally met him, and we're gonna have a discussion with him as well on the beach and mangroves and
Absolutely.
many other things. So I might say that the more the media portrayal of the climate, the more people will think about it. It's all about psychology, that how we can take things, and if you just provide positive vibes to people, I
So
guess it is amazing what we can do.
absolutely. But Gina, you're right. The media, mass media, the main national media, what can I say, is scaring us when it comes to climate news. That's why we say that
Yeah.
we are bringing forward a transformational voice, and that is different. And this is a partnership that stretches back to London, to David and Richard, rethinking our choices on our big money, the corporate structure, together with law, together with the civic society, and the artist community. It's like spinning things around. And also when it comes to the sports and the lead people, that is icon. But also over to Paka, you are here and you're following us, and you're flying with us to Pakistan, and I know you're busy in Kenya, but it's nice to have you here.
Kaka, my question to you, Climate Corp, the Voices of Africa YouTube channel. Who's going to start it soon? Voices from Africa.
Um, I think we can take initiative because I think as per what Inga said, at some point we have got a mischievous media, or should I say biased, in terms of you know putting live climate uh, related interventions. So I think I think we can basically do that, and I'm pretty sure we can be able to bring everything on board and white on paper as it is. So sooner or later we'll be doing this. I think we can be able to come up with one.
Okay, so Inger, I think we're coming close to the first session of the day. Thank you so much.
First hour is turnaround.
Yeah. Thank you, Kaka, for joining all the way from Africa. We'll be hearing more lovely stories, and stay tuned and keep up the good work. African team is rocking from Kenya, Nairobi.
It is.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I've really enjoyed, and it's been really nice, meeting you, Sadaf. Basically, I think you've really brought a lot of change to the campaign. I think you've really added a lot of kind of different sort of thinking in terms of planning and all broadcasting and everything. As we always say that we all talented differently. I will not been able to do all this by myself, maybe. I don't know, but you've really done a good and amazing job. We would love to have, even after the 12 days of COP conversation, we would love to continue with this for the ESCCGN. We're working really hard to get accredited also for UN and see how we can be able to work out on this. And I think on 26th, I'll be going to Geneva for Indigenous Communities meeting, and I would love, like, let's keep this a family. Let's continue even with the conversion of football and with Inga and everything else. I think this team is just an amazing team to keep. So I've really appreciated being here, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kaka, and enjoy your day in Kenya. We'll connect later, and we'll bring up the football match story again and again, and we'll connect back to Pakistan, we'll come back to Norway, we'll connect to every single person that is interested in football and the game of the sports, and get the sports stars from Kenya running as fast as we can with us. We will get there.
And let me know if any of you have a family lawyer. I'm not doing it on pro bono, but I'm going to be there. If in case you need any intervention in terms of law, you want to do trust, all that, I can always be able to guide.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
We'll talk to you in a bit. So take a lead, Sadaf. Do you want me to play more music? You can stay for the music, Kaka, if you like. But do you want me to play music? Bye-bye.
Yeah. Let me first, for the second half. So we have a distinguished guest joining all the way from Sri Lanka, Dr. Rohtana. He's a former chairman, Sri Lankan Export Development Board in Tourism. He has extensive professional background in British multinationals. He's also the Rotary member of Sri Lanka. We'll be hearing his amazing story. We have a segment called Ultimate Book of Trees, and he'll be talking about the 1 billion tree plantation project, which Rotary Network launched in Sri Lanka. Over to you, Inger, for his intro video.
Yes, do that. And keep ready the videos. We can go straight to Sri Lanka afterwards. We love what he's doing, and we love to fly over to Sri Lanka and to welcome all the good initiatives around the globe.
Inger, can you add the caption live from Sri Lanka?
Yes, we'll do. Well, yes. Now we are ready for Sri Lanka.
Okay, so I'm just going to play the video first, and then we're going to invite the panel discussion.
Yes, let's do so. Let's play the video.
Basically, I survived the tsunami because I clung on to a tree.
We had a jam tree in front garden in my home in Koskoda.
During our school days, we had this common tree where each and every one of us flock around during our lunch break or even after school.
There was a tree right next to my swimming pool. The tree had a beehive.
Sri Lanka needs to focus on marketing of its valuable assets to this entire world. One of them is the stronger agriculture heritage we have in Sri Lanka. I'm very certain that the Rotary 1 Million Trees project make this country the swap, the debt to carbon credits once 1 million trees are planted.
It's important that we stay sensitive to the environment. And for this, in Rotary, we have launched the 1 Million Trees project, where we not only plant and grow trees, but we maintain them.
I invite all of you to join me in making this 1 Million Trees project a reality.
Yes, Sadaf, it's an amazing story. I'm telling you. So let's go to the interview and talk. Let's meet Sri Lanka. This is for you. This is the campaign.
Yes,
Bring
Dr.
stories.
Ratana. We would love to hear your amazing story, and you can present your presentation.
Greetings from Sri Lanka, and we have a unique project that has come about, which we are partnered Rotary. And here, what we have is an environmental initiative which has come from the recent pillar of Rotary International, which is on environment. We have a country which is absolutely beautiful. It's called the Pearl of the Indian Ocean. Some call it the Miracle of Asia. And one of the challenges that we have right now happens to be the tree cover that has gone down from about 50% to about 29% in the last 30 years. And in line with that, we have decided that Rotary is going to play a role in this whole initiative. And we have launched a project called the 1 Million Tree Stories Project together with Rotary in 2015. And for the launch, we invited Rolling Straw, the Miss World for 2015, to come over to Sri Lanka and launch this project. The basic history of this idea is that if you look at every one of you, you tend to have a very fond memory with a tree. It could be at your grandparents, it could be at your school, it could be with regard to maybe a place where you met your friends. It's always emotional bond that you have with the tree. And we spent almost 1 million rupees researching this and contracting with the global advertising agency to come out with this creative, which we call the 1 Million Tree Project. So we are looking for 1 million tree stories from around the world. And every time when you contribute a tree story, you will contribute $2 of for the project. And then what happens is that this is where Rolling Straw launched this over in Sri Lanka. At that time, I was chairman of the Sri Lanka Tourism, and we had the Minister of Tourism and the officials from Sri Lanka Tourist Board. And from Rotary, the governor at that time was Gauri Rajan, who basically is one of the officials of Rotary International, and she chairs this whole 1 million tree project for Sri Lanka. We have nurseries way up in the middle of the country at an elevation of about 5,000 to 6,000 feet, where we grow these trees, and then subsequently after growing, we plant the trees, and then we maintain it for 25 years. And the whole maintenance is done by an agricultural expert company called Kilni Valley Plantations, who is a UN Global Compact Alliance entity. So when you pay your $2, when your name is entered, then that tree is planted way up there in a concentrated area by our agricultural partner, and it's maintained for 25 years. And after that, we will be computing the carbon credits, which will be traded to the world. So that was when Rolling Stones came to Sri Lanka and launched this project. And that's why it's called the 1 Million Tree Stories Project. And what we're asking is to contribute $2 into our website, which happens to be Rotary District 3220. You have the Facebook as well as the website for Rotary. You can go there and then you can do your pledge. And then from there onwards, we will handle the rest of it. Let me share with you the latest with regard to the video.
In Sri Lanka, whilst we are focusing on the economic development, which is the need of the hour, it's important we stay sensitive to the environment. We must focus on the sustainable development. It's important we maintain and increase our forest cover. And in Rotary, we have launched the 1 million trees project, where we not only plant a tree, but then we also maintain those trees. And we find, the research finds, that there's a tree in everyone's life. There's an emotional connection with a tree. Either in your childhood or during your teenhood, you would always find that a tree would always be special to you. And if you ask me, on the 26th of December 2004, when I was holidaying with my family in the coastal area of the East in Trincomalee, basically I survived the tsunami because I clung on to a tree. I'm sure each and every one of you will also have a tree story to share. So I invite you not only to join us in planting and growing these 1 million trees, but also do share with us your tree story.
It is coming from Rotary in Sri Lanka. But we would love to partner Sadaf's outfit in and actually make this a global project, because it's such a, we have done it at such a high level with the ambassador coming in, the Miss World coming in 2015 to Sri Lanka to launch it. It really stood out. And after that, Miss China came in and she also endorsed the brand. Then we had Miss Earth who came in. So likewise, we had enormous number of celebrities and came in, and all of them said a beautiful thing. They said, all of us have a small tree story. And I remember Miss World saying that she's from South Africa. She used to always climb a tree because she lives in Durban, and look down at Joburg. And she used to say, when she was like 15 years old, when would she rule the world? She used to always dream. And by 18, she had applied for this Miss World, and she won Miss World. And even today, she goes back to that tree and sits. So this tree story is a beautiful concept that I'm sure it will resonate with every one of you.
Absolutely. I think each and every one of us have, perhaps not the story as great as that, but I think everyone has some form of connection with nature in general and trees in particular that we can tell our children about. Where did you build your tree house, and where did you play with your friends when you were younger, and maybe trees you planted. In my case, it's very much a tree I planted with our children. The first Christmas we spent in the new house, we bought a little Christmas tree on foot for them to decorate, because we have the bigger one indoors. And when Christmas was over, we planted that tree, and now 20 years later, it's a big, massive pine, and I can look at it every day. I open my front door and I can see, time has passed. The children have left home. One lives in Amsterdam, one lives in Paris, and the tree, is now a solid 10, 12-meter tree. So I think each and every one of us have some form of story around a tree like that.
Inger, would you like to ask any question and add in comments of this beautiful tree story that we are having?
Absolutely. I think in the book of trees, I'm probably is that the reason why we kind of in It's For You campaign, we are saying, like, let's talk about tree stories. And I've been doing a couple of interviews with friends from Kenya and the Wangari Maathai movement, the Green Belt movement. And
Right.
yeah, so we that's the book of trees. So we today afternoon, evening about the tree stories in Kenya. From myself, I think I've been working with a lot with artists that is crafting old trees that has been cut down into sculptures. I mean, totem sculptures, and we're making big whales and art objects like big trunks into art sculptures. So that's one of my projects, and when I look at my childhood trees, I'd really have to say they're all cut down. They're cut. Mm. And also my neighbors here where I live, it's like I'm living in the Amazon forest. The neighbors suddenly cut down 10 big pines just like outside their house, like, and I think that comes because they have the men in who lives close by. They have those machines and they love to take out the trees suddenly, you know.
Yesterday also, we had a guest from Las Vegas. My friend, I met her. She's a Rotary member, and she told us about her tree plantation story, how they started. So it's amazing when you hear all these global stories all around the world. It's just that we have to it's not just planting trees. You have to take care of them as we take care of a baby as a child, and the wonderful stories to tell to your children that we planted this tree, it grew, and and it is adding, like, even a single step would lead to so many amazing stories to tell. Yes, Richard.
Yeah, obviously there for me there's also very much an economic aspect to all this, which it tends to be at the bottom of everything. And we know tree planting is one way of generating carbon credits. It's the most effective way of naturally trying to capture carbon on our planet. And I'm always amazed when they talk about scientific carbon capture, in my mind, it's just a question of planting more trees, really. The problem is that it's conflicting with our ambition of creating more farmland and other things. In Sri Lanka, this is me speculating because I don't know. I would imagine the growth of a tree is about as fast as can happen anywhere on the planet, given the climatic conditions you have, which is similar to sort of southern or central South America, Paraguay and Brazil, where literally trees grow exponentially. 25 years for a tree in Sri Lanka, I would imagine, gives you a massive tree by the time you've extracted the credits. Do they really grow as fast as I imagine they're doing? In 25 years, you have an enormous tree.
Yeah, it depends on the type of tree and the terrain which you plant. So, for example, we plant it in a place called Hatton, which happens to be in the central part of Sri Lanka at a feet of about 5,000 feet. And we tied up with the Department of Forestry, who has looked at the terrain of the tree in the surface of the soil and see what kind of tree ideally suits that. So it's a scientific way by which we have done, because it's audited by Rotary International. They don't want to do in any way which is going to harm the environment. So it depends on the type of tree, but in our case, within a space of between 3 and 5 years, the tree goes into a full-blown kind of yield.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it must be very conducive for growing trees, I imagine, with that kind of climate.
Yeah. So
and what we are also doing, Richard, is that let's assume that you come to Sri Lanka and you plant a tree. We are now working with artificial intelligence, where we go and say, Richard Basalato, and you put your name on the tree, and then subsequently when you go back to UK, you can go onto our go onto our site using the GPS monitor. You can check your tree and how it grows. So that's one thing which we are working on right now, and so that then you can every 3 years or 5 years, you can see the progress of your tree. And one day when you come to Sri Lanka, you can go back to the place where you planted the tree, and you would see your name and the tree. So we are right now working on that technology.
So let me, coming from a business perspective, I've been working in a fashion business, and of course, viscose is made of pulp from trees. And also I've been working on the Norwegian carbon credit market on green carbon, but also on blue carbon and offsetting. Are you also working with mangrove tree planting? Because I've been working with my youth projects here in Europe, with Sweden. We have the Earth Bank, and they work on the blue carbon credits as well in India and around the world.
Okay.
And what I like with this idea now with the Rotary is that we can actually bring it to communities locally. And there's so many Rotary chapter, so it has if we can make everyone, it's for you, and we really can work together on this book of trees, or my relationship to a tree, it would be amazing. So are you working on blue carbon as well with the mangrove tree planting?
We are right. See, what we are right now doing is we have consulted. There's a Sri Lankan who has got the Nobel Prize. He's sharing the Nobel Prize for Environment with Algo, a guy called Professor. I forget his name. Well, just one take. I will give you his name. He he owns in NGO called Carbon Consulting. He's Mohan Munasinghe, Professor Mohan Munasinghe. So he's the one who shared the Nobel Prize with Algo. So what we are doing is that we are working with that. We are trying to work with them, Inger, and try to see whether we could do the carbon credits study, and then post that we are trying to see as to how we could sell carbon credits to our apparel industry, because our apparel goes to all the top retailers in the UK and the US, including Victoria's Secrets and Nike and all these companies. They all the brands are manufactured in Sri Lanka, so they have agreed to buy the carbon credits, and so that they could say that their garment is carbon neutral. So we are right now working on these two initiatives. One is the AI initiative, where when Richard plants a tree, he would see the tree glow and he can check it from the UK using GPS. And the other one, Inga, is we are trying to see how we could link up with this Professor Mohan Munasinghe's outfit and do the carbon consulting, so that because of his Nobel Prize, it brings a lot of credibility about as to how you could trade carbon. So that's the two initiatives we are working on, and we have tabled this at Rotary International also, and they're quite excited about this project.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. If I talk about trees, I'm talking about one book that is written by Chief Oren Lyons, who is a consultant to it's the first one that alerted United Nations that the ice is melting on the north. And he is, of course, a friend of Al Gore, and he's in his mid-80s, close to his 90s years old. And of course, back in the day when I had an internship at the Norwegian Peace Institute in Oslo, I was working for Mr. Kumar, Dr. Kumar Rupesinghe from Sri Lanka. Kumar Rupesinghe. So he's connected to our peace center.
Okay.
You know him?
Yes. Yes, very much. He's peace and reconciliation.
Yes, please. And so he hired me to work with him with this international alert for peace and human rights information systems. Yeah,
Okay.
at the time. But I've never been to Sri Lanka. But I'm saying if we can, and there is a lot. It's an initiative here in Norway called Football for Forest, and we're connecting it to the energy of sports and planting of trees. You know, so what we touched, and I believe that climate and peace culture is so we can't live without it. Actually, it's part of the destiny of humans, human destiny, and that we need to find a way to have conflicts without bombing and killing each other. So if you can use the story of the tree, that we have to make a peace culture connecting to the hearts between people, but also with peoples towards nature. So that is like a love story to a tree, you know, what you're talking about, which is amazing. Mm.
Yeah.
And
yeah, right.
and my gift in this connection is that I'm a bit connected to the Cannes Film Festival, which is working with most of the famous women and Miss World and Miss Universe and the catwalks. So we can bring even more famous people from the beauty industry, if you like, or from the sports into this initiative, which can yeah.
That'd be fantastic, Inga. That'd be
Yeah,
fantastic.
and what's give this credibility is in fact that it's Rotary, because Rotary looks after communities and it has a multiple stakeholders that can look after trees. You know, it's grounded in community building and care. Yeah.
And something very important is that we have the Rotary for the first time set up a company. We have all the past district governors who sit on the company as board members. So when you're a governor of Rotary, means that you're a exemplary citizen, and they are the people who give governance to the project. So they check to see every single tree that is planted. We keep 2% mortality rate, for which the agriculture partner replants every year 2% of the trees that would die, and they would make sure that when there is money taken from the public sector, that there's absolute accountability of it, so that if Rotary International comes and there's an audit, it's very, very transparent and it's focused. So that's the governance that we are giving this project, Inga.
It's good. It's very good.
Richard, would you like to add in your comments, Richard?
I mean, the project's amazing, you know, for both emotional and economic reasons. I think it's something that will resonate with people all over the world because of the connection you have, but also that actually it makes economically sense to focus on planting trees in areas where they actually capture carbon as quickly as possible. And you can use those credits compared to planting them in Alaska or Siberia, where it takes 200 years for a tree to grow. I really like the story overall. And are you sensing that people living in those areas enjoy the project, enjoy working with it? It makes sense for them as well to be involved when you take these spaces and you plant all of the trees. It's something that benefits the local population living there as well, gives them jobs and sort of a general sense of well-being about being part of all this.
It's a very interesting question, Richard, you're asking, because there are some times where people plant trees and then they harvest it for commercial forestry. So now in our contract with the agricultural partner, we have to make sure that it's maintained for 25 years. So because of that, every time when a tree is planted, it is planted by the community itself who work in that estate. So because of that, it has a sense of kind of belongingness, that whatever they plant, it remains. So that's something that we have. And of course, right now, from 1 million trees, we have planted about 400,000 trees, and it's been maintained. So now we are now sprucing it up, because we're also coming out of a economic crisis and a financial crisis. And before that was pandemic, so we had a bit of a lull between 2018 till 2022. Pandemic hit us. We had an Easter attack in 2019. You would have heard about a terrorist organization that killed about 268 people. And then post that, it was pandemic, and then after pandemic, an economic crisis. So we had a triple whammy, but now we are picking it up, and now again we are starting to roll it out. So our target is that within the next 1 year we can go for 1 million trees.
That sounds fascinating and very, very, inspiring. Because, like you said, Sri Lanka has had its fair share of adverse conditions over the last couple of years, more so than most other countries. And it's great to hear that situation is better, and this is something that actually is galvanizing people living there, and it provides economic benefits to everyone's involved in the area, because I think that's hugely important. And what you're describing seems to be actually functioning that way, because I'm always a little bit skeptical about a central idea going out to people and implementing it, and all of a sudden the local population says, this is not what we wanted, this is not at all beneficial to us, and this seems to work a very different way. So that's great to hear.
I really love it,
Yeah, it's a wonderful story, and it's very beneficial to everyone.
We
The video
could,
has
I mean,
uploaded.
lovely. I mean, sure. I mean, oh, lovely. Richard, would you like to play it? I mean, that has the real story. The whole
Yeah,
photographs,
very happy
everything
to.
is there.
Thank you so much.
Basically, I survived the tsunami because I clung on to a tree.
We had a jam tree in front garden in my home in Koskoda.
During our school days, we had this common tree where each and every one of us flock around during our lunch break or even after school.
There was a tree right next to my swimming pool. The tree had a beehive.
Hello, Sadaf. Welcome back.
Hi, Inger. Wow.
Yes. Wow. It is an opportunity. I was listening to it again and like reflecting, and I was mentioning a couple of things that when we talked about this interview did not make sense. I like to share this story about the artist I'm working with. In Norway, I'm also involved in we have the tallest hotel in a wood structure on the planet, made out of wood hotels. But let me go to the art sculpture story. Do you remember that? It's like the green, the planting of trees, cutting of trees, making art sculpture, making big hotels, making clothes out of wood and pulp. There's so many paradoxes here. And so let me share this story from my life, which is real story. And this is in dedication to my friend Olivier Ledoux. And I think I made this peace sculpture early on, and we did more bench for people to sit down and share the uh, share the story of the piece. Look at it. Here it comes, Sadaf. Can you see it? This is. You can't hear the voice here. Here you see the sculpture we did. It's an old tree that we have to take away from our street. And my friend artist, he came on board. Olivier Ledoux was in Molde in 2012. We started making those big art sculpture of huge chunks that was cut down. And this was, it was smashed during a storm in Norway. So the force of the wind cracked these big trees down. And we said, instead of burning it, let us make something out of it. So we made a peace bench. It's quite interesting. And, I was so stressed moving this trunk into the right spot so we can have a collaborative art piece and getting children. And there's my daughter and my family trying to craft this thing. And we got ordinary people to make a sculpture in the city. So we come together, and this is the drawing. It looks like a jewelry with fish, with big hearts, with roses, and it was really something especially. So we had a very exciting time with that sculpture, like full of hearts, full of fishes,
Wow,
full of
that's
the ocean.
amazing.
It's amazing. I'm telling you. But I quoted that in the small like dialogue that we had, and I'm sure nobody understood what I was talking about when
No,
I
no,
said.
I was sending you a message called, art and culture it has a very deep connection when we talk about environment. Uh, we're talking about transformational ownership. We're
Yes,
talking about bringing in change, and change will come if you engage with art and culture and local communities. That's what we are talking about, indigenous communities. Their voices
absolutely.
needs to be heard. So there's a very deep connection, Inger. It's a beautiful video that you're sharing. And I think our session for the Sri Lanka one was quite interesting. The story of 1 billion tree project that we showed. Uh, it was a beautiful video. What's your take on? I haven't been to Sri Lanka. I've been to Maldives. What do you think of these amazing stories? Rotary is a global network, Inger, for our viewers. How can we capitalize this? How can we uh, start these projects through Rotary? My question to you is.
uh, it's definitely, you saw how like amazing and enthusiastic I was about even bringing forward my own journey from my youth when I was working as an internship for the Norwegian Peace Institute. And he mentioned the Al Gore Peace Prize and the importance of the climate aspect and his colleague Mohammed something from Sri Lanka, who won the prize together with Al Gore and IPCC. And I think that is actually, it comes together as a gift for us, all of us, to bring that story alive from Sri Lanka to the work that you have done, Sadaf. You are really engaged in the global community of Rotary, and this is Rotary is a community that is locally based, and it can take care of this planting of trees, and they can be the governance, they can be accountable. So it's not like a bluff, but it's like in communities where people live, and I really love it, Sadaf, and yeah.
It's, yeah, it's I mean, that's why, like, when I joined Rotary, I've been involved in so many other things in Pakistan. I never joined a Rotary club, by the way, in Islamabad. And I thought that, I had the chance to join the Rotary Club internationally in Nottingham, UK. And it was a great experience. I'm still in touch with them, and I'm going to rejoin. I'm looking for a good club in Pakistan as well. But yes, Rotary can do wonders. So now let's go back. A lot of discussion on Book of Trees. I think, Inger, our discussions today was very interesting. Thanks for bringing in Uria or Uria.
Uri.
From Italy. The media perspective was amazing. We heard Kaka talking about the African climate cock hero. We've got the Pakistan perspective from Karachi. Mr. Jinnah Iram is going to join us soon. She'll be moderating the next session, which is coming up on sustainable tourism projects from Islamabad. But before that, I want to go back to COP28 in Dubai and see what's happening there. So let's hear some interesting speeches for our viewers.
Yes, please share, Sadaf. Do that. We are melting stories from this is happening as we speak in Dubai, and people are talking. Let's give it a full screen.
Has finally arrived. And as my first official act as COP president, allow me to express my gratitude to my very dear friend, Sameh Shukri. Your Excellency, you have led this conference with vision, purpose, and integrity. We are indebted to you for your service, your accomplishments, and your commitment to climate progress. And allow me to also extend my gratitude to every person in this room. We come from different nations, different backgrounds, and different generations. Yet, we share something vital. At some point in each of our lives, we all made a choice to help carry the burden of a great responsibility, to raise our hands and bear some portion of the weight on our shoulder. That choice is why we are all here in the United Arab Emirates today. The UAE is deeply proud and humbled to be hosting COP28 at a pivotal time in this critical decade for climate action. We know, as you know, the gravity of this moment. We feel, as you feel, the urgency of this work. And we see, as you see, that the world has reached a crossroads. And yes, since Paris, we have made some progress. But we also know that the road we have been on will not get us to our destination in time. The science has spoken. It has been loud and clear. It has confirmed that the moment is now to find a new road, a road wide enough for all of us, free of the obstacles and the detours of the past. That new road starts with a decision on the global stocktake, a decision that is ambitious, corrects course, and accelerates action to 2030. Through the global stocktake, we have a chance to unite the three core elements of the climate agenda. We can finally bring mitigation adaptation, and means of implementation, which includes finance, under one umbrella, united around higher ambition, giving clear direction on nationally determined contributions, and connecting everything we agree here to practical action in the real world. Every nation, every sector, and every one of us has an urgent and an immediate role to play. For my part, I pledge that I will run an inclusive and transparent process, one that encourages free and open discussion between all parties. I ask you to start this COP with a different mindset. I ask you to adopt a different way of thinking. And I ask you to be flexible.
Well, thank you so much, Sadaf.
We must ensure that this COP.
Thank you so much, Sadaf. You know, I'm listening well. I'm listening to the promises, but it is a challenge, isn't it? I can see that you have to unmute yourself and.
Yeah, I was just checking on the. I mean, yeah, the reason I'm just trying to, so that we also know what's happening in actual COP28 and these leaders talking. A lot of happening, Inger, there, and I hope that peace prevails soon in the neighboring countries. When we talk about climate, it's not just environment. We need peace. We need stability. We need humanity to live. Everybody has the right to live, whether it's our children, whether it's our dear mothers, sisters. Peace and integrity, I think, is also very important if we want to combat climate change and save our planet Earth.
So, Sadaf, this is like an intimate, and honest and authentic conversation between you and me. Right now, it's 1 p.m. here in Norway, Central European time, and you are in Pakistan. Your time is it's closer to being 5, I believe now.
Yeah.
So it's a couple of minutes to 5 p.m. Pakistan time. So what I'm going to say now is indeed very important, and actually it's the missing piece for COP. It's about talking about peace and the peace culture. My dear friend Uri in the earlier today, he mentions that we at the Paris Agreement in 2015 agenda COP21, he said it was a very special event, if you remember, just weeks before Paris COP. It was the terrorist attacks, remember? They exploded in nightclubs, in clubs, three places at the same time. So the city of Romans, the city of lights in Europe, Paris, was attacked by bombing, It was and everything what's happening was that peace turning as the main mantra for the COP21 in Paris, because we were scared, right? And the green heart was on the Tour Eiffel, it was the blue ocean, it was planting of trees, and it was led by a stubborn optimism of getting an agreement signed. And also the place to be, I was staying at the same hotel as Vandana Shiva, and all the journalists in a hotel called the place to be. And it was a tremendous creative sparkle, as Uri was mentioning. He was there as an artist in Paris, an activist. So it was parallel workshop. It was a lot going on. And for this COP in Dubai, we know what's happening the weeks before We know what's happening in Israel, Palestine. We know what's happening in Ukraine and in Russia, and we are a little bit scared about conflict, Sadaf. It's a war on the planet. It's a war with nature, and we have to break away from the culture of war and make culture of peace. You know, we can all cry what's going on in the Middle East right now, and still we're celebrating. You're unmuted, Sadaf. I'm not sure if you trying to comment a serious note here, or if you let me talk too much on my own. But Sadaf, you have to unmute yourself to bring me along. And what would like to say here, Sadaf, is that we have done something very interesting from I can't hear you, Sadaf.
Sorry, I was just coordinating with our guest. He's just
Brilliant.
joining us soon. So yes, coming back to peace, I think, Inger, we should have another dialogue. I'm trying to get hold of some international media persons. I've asked my friend yesterday, let's see if I can get some expertise around the globe, because as I said, peace is very important. You know, it's like we know climate change is there. I'll not talk more about it, but for the online viewers, my next session, let's talk about that, and we'll have a separate discussion on.
Absolutely.
We have 12 days to go, so we'll not waste our energy. So our next session is going to be from live from Islamabad, Pakistan. We'll be talking about sustainable tourism potential. Mr. Ijaz Malik is joining us soon. I'll give his brief introduction. He's the Air Vice Marshal, retired. He's given 2 awards, which is special awards from the presidents of Pakistan, called the Sitara Imtiaz and Hilal Imtiaz. He served Pakistan Air Force for 34 years, and now he's also actively part in the tourism and adventure tourism, sustainable tourism for capacity building and resilience. So I now hand it over to my colleague Iram. She's joined us today. She'll be moderating this session from Karachi.
It's brilliant. Before you, let's play your introduction in general terms. And again, hello, Isaj Malik. Greetings from Norway. Hello, Irum. Welcome back. I like to again thank you to what you're doing, ladies in Pakistan. It's an honor to work with you. But let me play the 12 Days of COP intro so we can get the spirit up a bit. And look at all the places we've been visiting. It started off from with the young youth movement in African Climate Summit in Kenya early September, with the rethinking choices with David and Co in London, business people, etc., etc. We are moving the world, we are spinning the world, and it is for you. But let me play the intro. And you prepare yourself, Irum, to be our host for this session together with our guest. And I play the intro. Welcome. It is for you. So this is, it is for you, it's for COP28. Here's all our partners, Rethinking Choices, East Africa, World Climate School, our core trip, and we are making ideas flying around the world. Welcome to the stage, all of you. Welcome back. 1 hour ago from Islamabad, and I would say Karachi as well, Irum.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
We welcome you over here on the stage of It's For You. It's for you, it's for me, and it's for everyone. I guess the guest today, Mr. Mijaz Malik, is one of the inspiring men from Pakistan because Pakistan is making history. This time at this COP28 UAE, we are very privileged to have Mijaz Malik over here because he works on sustainable tourism. And I am very, very glad that he joined us. We can get connected because of Sadaf, and he's such an inspiring guy. So, sir, welcome on board.
Thank you very much.
So, Sadaf, as Sadaf and Sarijaz has been working together on tourism, so let me just ask you a few of the questions on the tourism. So what do you think that how can we make this tourism industry in Pakistan and globally a sustainable one?
Um, Inger, before Mr. Ijaz Malik respond, we'll take question answers in the end, like always do. And Mr. Ijaz, thank you so much for joining. If you're ready, we'll play his presentation, and then Inger and you can carry on with the question answers. Mr. Ijaz, are you
Okay.
ready for the PowerPoint?
Can you please display my PowerPoint?
Yes, we are ready to display it. I think I can look at the concentration of Sadaf's eyes concentrating on putting it forward for you. So we are ready to share your story to the world, how tourism can be a role to play for good, for climate, for engaging people around the world. Some background music as we are waiting. Here it comes. Over to you. Take it live from Pakistan.
Okay. Good evening and salam from Pakistan, everybody. Today's session is basically to very briefly touch upon various broad parameters of sustainable tourism in general, and then we specifically talk about Pakistan, because like any other destination on the planet, Pakistan has to engage our tourism potential in a manner wherein not only that we capitalize on our diverse ecosystems, weathers, various terrains, starting from coastal belt to plains, deserts, highlands, and ultimately some of the world's highest glaciers and mountain. But unfortunately, we are the effect is of the global climate change. So, because the phenomena of glacier melting and temperature rising, it affects us right from north to south. So we have to make a very conscious effort to deal with this subject, and that is how I stand with you for this presentation. Next slide, please. Just to touch upon the definition, any form of tourism that does not reduce the availability of resources and does not inhibit future travelers from enjoying the same experiences. Next, please. And after the general definition, the definition now flashed in front of you is UNWTO 2015 definition, which categorize tourism that takes full account of its current and future economic, social, and environmental impacts, addressing the needs of the visitors, the industry, the environment, and host communities. There are goals of sustainable tourism as defined by UNWTO. They significantly highlight, but not limited to, the economic viability, local prosperity. Local prosperity is very important because unless and until we engage the local communities for their uplift, economic uplift, uh, they will not be participative in any program. Then employment quality. What kind of employments are we going to offer to the people, the indigenous communities, as well as the people who are interested to temporarily move into those destination uh, areas. Social equity is very important. Unless everybody, every stakeholder is on board, we cannot progress. But at the same time, tourism is all about the visitors' fulfillment. So we have to create and sustain a balance between the sustainability of our ecosystem, natural habitat, our flora and fauna, and at the same time, we have to provide a fulfillment of the experience to our visitors. Next, please. Community well-being is very important because if we end up through our developmental program or an uncontrolled influx of tourism or travelers into any scenic resort or destination, we will get into conflict. And the conflict will have its not only its impact the short term, but in the long term it will make the objective, the core objective of sustainability extremely difficult. So we have to look after the well-being of the indigenous community. Then cultural richness has to be respected, and we have to take all measures wherein not only that we respect, rather we enrich the already prevalent uh, cultural uh, heritage of the area. Then obviously physical integrity of the area. Biodiversity is very important because once we move into any natural setting, any ecosystem, we have to see that how the flora and fauna, all the living organisms, whether they are around the wetlands, the water features, or even in the deserts, they have to be looked after, and they have to be, we need to learn to coexist with the uh, all the living organisms in our ecosystems. And whatever resources we are already using or we intend to integrate in future to use for our travel and tourism program, they have to be very efficiently used, because excessive use of any resources would cause a phenomena of overgrazing as well as inefficiencies in all systems. And obviously, we have to respect and maintain environmental purity. Next, please. So, once we talk about environmental sustainability, it aims at to reduce damage to the environment and protect it in a sustainable manner. I can give some example of how we could do this while on vacation to any destination. We have to rethink our mode of travel. At time, rather than flying, choosing to travel by bike or by public transport is great for reducing our carbon footprint in a scenic location. Waste management, it is extremely important because it may seem obvious to some, but knowing how to manage your waste while on vacation is very important. Remember to pick up your garbage and not leave it lying around. Unfortunately, once we specifically talk towards the Pakistani scenario, this is the greatest challenge that we are currently facing, and which is extremely, you know, crucial to be taken care of if we have to create an environment for the sustainable tourism. And then we have to respect the animals, know how to observe them without upsetting or disturbing them, and how to respect their natural habitat, be it for the bird watching or safaris or just moving around and looking for uh, any particular species specific to that area. Next, please. Talking about social and economic sustainability, social sustainability is a major focus point of sustainable tourism. It is often linked to economic sustainability. And here are again some examples of how to be socially and economically responsible tourists. We must support local businesses during our stay. Finding local accommodation rather than a chain hotel is the best way to stimulate the growth of region and travel responsibly. Eating locally, discovering the local cuisine. And Alhamdulillah, Pakistan is very rich in this particular aspect of tourism and hospitality. All our areas, they have their typical cuisines, mostly, the ingredients and the processes
So, yes, I think we have a small glitch in the line direct from Pakistan, but we can see that the responsible tourism behavior and long-term viability of the projects and how it's really economic development for the local communities. So, so this is the Pakistani scenario. Please guide us through this, all the details, all the beauty you can present, Sadaf, in this scenario for Pakistan, to build back better, to make improvement in the local communities, and to invite guests, international guests to Pakistan, and also internal tourism.
I'll ask Iram and you to take this conversation forward once Mr. Jaz Malik is back. And Iram can talk about the beautiful places in Malam Jabba Silk Road Summit that she experienced. What are the challenges, sustainable tourism, and how it can be improved. Over to Iram and Inger.
Thank you, Sadaf. And I think it's amazing to see what we can do, how we can really work with a partnership with adventure sports, for example, from Norway to Pakistan, how we can really work on the Pakistani diaspora. I know a lot of friends from Oslo are traveling back to Pakistan on their holidays with the whole family. It's so many things to do, Iram. And also Karachi, by the sea, you're doing so much improvements.
Yes. So you know what? Like tourism is what I can say, bring leisures and bring many other activities together. I guess it's. I think tourism brings happiness to the families, and tourism brings knowledge to different people as well. So tourism that takes full account of its current and future economic, social, and environmental impacts, addressing the needs of the visitors. So we should discuss about the need of the visitors, that why they should visit to a country that can bring economic prosperity and can boost the GDP. In Pakistan, we need this very, very importantly right now, because like people are coming to Pakistan after COVID. But I would like Sarajaz to answer this. That how do you think the Pakistani tourism would be encouraged more? Because you have vast experience in this field, sir.
Iram, the changing trends after the COVID are that people are preferring to have their vacation at remote locations, away from crowded places or resorts. So, Pakistan offers a lot of opportunities for people who are looking for a, family holiday in wilderness, adventure tourism, be it in winters or in summers. From our northern region to south, we can provide ample, destinations and exposure to people to avail those, very exclusive visits to the areas. So I think we have a lot to offer.
Yes, because like Pakistan is a very beautiful country, and I'm not just saying this because I have experience in this field. So I am back. I guess the internet glitches. So anyhow, somehow we are going to be I'm having some internet issues over here. Somehow some glitches happens, but I'm back. So it's for
Okay.
you, it's for me, and it's for everyone. So this is what sustainable tourism is, that you have to just accept everything up, whatever is coming to your way. I guess after the COVID, Pakistan has the entire people in Pakistan. They wanted to travel remote to the remote areas, as Jasser was telling us. So I guess sustainable tourism is a concept that covers the complete tourism experience, including the concern for economic, social, and environmental issues as well. So, as per Sadaf, me and the Ijaz Saab has a synergy on the tourism. So, sir, you just let me know what we can bring to the world. What can we can do you have any agenda that we can tell the global audience that they can visit to Pakistan, and we will be the business development facilitators over here and the tourism facilitators.
The first and foremost, I think we have very recently launched our brand Pakistan, by the name of Salam Pakistan. So we have to
Yes.
project and showcase that what we offer, which is different than other destinations. And I think all the foreign visitors that we have been able to engage during their visit to Pakistan, uh, with our experience, they say that apart from the natural, scenic beauty, the people of Pakistan are amazing. Their hospitality is unmatching. So I think this is one point. With our diverse socio-cultural background and various civilizations which are coexisting in the entire diverse landscape of Pakistan, I think our people should be brought to forefront as a hospitable community, welcoming people for sustainable tourism.
No doubt we are like that, and we are the people who love the entire globe. And you must visit us because our country has all four seasons plus all four places that you go to. So, all beautiful, the beaches, the deserts, the mountains, the snow, the rain, the rivers. It's all in one country that is called Pakistan. And that's why I'm very proud to be a Pakistani. So, Inger, you tell me if I have your attention. I guess tourism can bring some economic growth to the country as well. Do you agree, Sarijaz?
Definitely. In fact, the entire world is going through an economic meltdown, but at the same time, the tourism, hospitality and tourism is an industry which gets affected because of any, challenge very soon, but then it has the inherent ability to bounce back. So we need to recover out of the global recession that everyone is facing, particularly because of various conflict in the European theater and the problem in the petroleum industry. So I think this time around, if we manage to get few numbers, higher number than the last year, for our foreign tourists, it will be a value addition to our economy, and not only the local economy where they are going to spend, but overall the amount of foreign exchange any tourist spends, that will be an addition to our national exchequer.
So,
Okay. Thank you so
yeah,
very
I
much,
do.
sir.
So, I really think that we should ask the question about do you have any numbers of the, for example, the Pakistani diaspora coming back as international tourists as a market, or is it most Pakistanis the internal tourist market? Because in COVID, internal tourism scaled up in the country.
Actually, Ingrid, we have a sizable, we are a huge population country. We have a sizable domestic tourism, but that's not helping our economy. We need a foreign tourist, be it Pakistani diaspora, our expat community traveling back from Europe, England, Canada, America, North America to Pakistan, or then real foreign nationals. Obviously, in the past, as you are well aware, we have been going through that challenge of security environment, but now for past many years, alhamdulillah, we have recovered out of that, although still the world think that Pakistan is not safe. But let me reassure you through our this program and through your courtesy, that Pakistan, all destinations, they are as safe as anywhere else in the world. So we need to do our better perception management as far as the security is concerned. And because the local tourism at time, it is problematic if it is unregulated, instead of generating revenue for the local community, the commercialism takes precedence over sustainability. And ultimately, that destination, it starts to have all the negative impact in terms of solid waste, in terms of the phenomena of overgrazing. So we need to regulate the inflow of tourists, local tourists to all destinations, and at the same time make our concerted efforts to get back the international tourists. For example, there are certain exclusive areas, our ski resorts, our adventure sports opportunities, be it the airborne, waterborne, or land based adventure tourism. We need to bring back those tourists. And for this transition period in coming few years, I think the lowest hanging fruit would be to bring back Pakistani diaspora who are currently preferring to avail a holiday as a family reunion phenomena in Turkey, Malaysia, Indonesia, or at time Sri Lanka. So we have to reach out to them and that we provide them a family reunion at competitive price. Pakistan, because of our exchange rate, is one of the amazingly cheapest destination in the world, even within the Southeast Asian region.
That's
so
good.
we need to capitalize
Very
on
true,
that.
sir.
We need to capitalize on that. That what value for money are we providing our fellow expats or foreign nationals once they come to Pakistan? But again, reminding and reassuring them that this cheaper tourism is not at the cost of uh, quality. Quality and standardization we have to maintain and improve, because we have to ensure that whosoever is coming here as a guest, he or she should be taken care of by international standards.
Very true, sir. I guess we need to make a project out of it. And as I am very much interested to work with Sadaf and you again, and Inga, why don't you just play the last video that we had, the Silk Road one, and which can show the Pakistani places where we can bring the others to Pakistan?
Yes, I'd love to do that. Just give me a few seconds, and I will get the because I've been working, and I was invited to Pakistan before COVID, and now I have, of course, not been able. And I'm a skiing instructor and a person that has been a lot on my outdoor.
Wow.
So I do have a potential to do.
Inga,
Yeah.
you are most welcome.
Yes.
You come here. Its season is about to start in a month or so in our northern areas. Be our guest. Come ski yourself.
Yeah.
Teach people. We can do women exclusive, skiing packages.
Of
Right?
course, and I'm a skiing instructor for children, of course, as well. And I've been a professional skier like in my
So we
my
would
youth.
like to avail. We would like to avail your, skill set to teach our own local women folk, so that they also get inspired from your excellence in this particular challenging and
So when is the season starting? How much snow do you have now?
no, we have only in up north, but actual season, if you are aware of, it starts from anything mid-January onward.
Okay, I should come. I should come straight after New Year's Eve. Start my New
Yeah,
Year
you
with skiing
celebrate
in
your New Year
Pakistan.
there in Europe, and then just come to Pakistan.
Yes, and I like to
Thank you.
say that I'm living up on the west coast of Norway, and we do have like the mountaineering festival, as an activity for 1 week up in Ondalsnes, and we're going to connect that to Pakistan with Sadaf and Irum, the work that they're doing, and see how we can bring this kind of partnership. So Pakistanis in Norway listening to this, you're welcome to come here to Molde and Møre og Romsdal and take the train from Oslo straight up, and we'll have a green skiing resort with nature. It will be winter, it will be summer, it will be fall or spring. We can have the welcome you from Pakistan, and then we do the trip to Pakistan after, and we train master trainers for outdoor business coaching in the wilderness. You know, you can use nature as an inspiration to think better and to quiet your busy mind in Pakistan. And I will come. But now I'd like to present this beautiful video that we prepared it's 2 or 3 years ago, Sadaf, and we are
Inger, yeah, thank you so much. I was just taking a short break. Thank you guys for moderating the sustainable tourism. Thank you, Mr. Ijaz Malik, for joining the COP28, which is happening in Dubai. We are running this campaign globally. Sustainable tourism is very close to my heart, and Mr. Ijaz's as well. My question before, I have another interesting video of Pakistan as well to show in the end. Is Mr. Ijaz, who's representing Pakistan for COP28? Because Aftab Rana is here. What's Pakistan's stance on sustainable tourism? And what are the strategy? Are there any eco-tourist lodge projects coming up? I know we had a discussion. I engaged with the global team from Greece. We had a lot of meetings, but I don't see any eco-tourism.
We do have eco lodges coming up in our some are already operational for past almost 2 years, and we do have some more coming up in our northern areas. Actually, Sadaf, as you understand, the first stage is to create awareness amongst the people. Once that awareness is there and the will to do is developed, then investment or arranging resources is not an issue. It has never been an issue in Pakistan. It is only that some people have to take the initiative, they have to take the leading role to set the stage for others, and then there is people start to pour in in large numbers.
Brilliant, Mr. Ijaz. And please, after this call, I'm going to have a discussion. I want Inger-Mette. I want to see her in January in Pakistan.
Yes.
And I want to launch. She has been, for the viewers, it's incredible. If I was to, I would give, the awards that the president gives, that you have got, Sitara Imtiaz, because she has been given Pakistan free time, which is a recordable since COVID. It's been now, 3 years, Iram? Inger has been passionate about engaging in discussions on tourism, on fashion. She was a part of the Silk Road Summit, projecting Pakistan. She's the one who invited me to COP26. I want her to come to Pakistan and engage her, and she is just amazing on fashion, sustainability, ecotourism. And recently, Mr. Ijaz, for your information, she's just come back from India. She's done 2 major projects in India, and they invited her. So why can't Pakistan invite? We have
Sadaf, we are Pakistan. You and me are Pakistan. We are inviting her. She just has to pack her baggage.
You're invited. I get my private skiing boots because they are heavy.
I did ask you the video. Inger, you play that Silk Road video, and then I'm going to play another video. And Iram, you'll be closing the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation and for the support, Sadaf. I love working with you and Irum. It's been a pleasure since we started with the Silk Road. Here comes the SWAT skiing initiative and the Silk Road initiative, and it's deep history, it's deep culture, and it's so much exciting to do. Here it comes. It is for you. Here we go. Here we go,
Yes.
ladies.
So you know what? Yes. Oh my God.
When you write, your tone influences how readers.
Wow. It's a very clear message to COP28 and its leaders. To build back better and to make communities thrive is to build tourism, because it will engage food, small scale businesses. It has it can build up empowerment of women and men and youth, in not at least youth. 70%, 60-70% of the youngsters in Pakistan are youth. So this kind of green movement will mobilize youth in the tourism industry. It's a huge empowerment, I would think. So it is opportunities, ladies, and thank you so much for the invitation. I'm inspired to come. And in my youth as well, I lived in Austria, so I'm very much connected to the Alps. But mostly I'm in love with the high mountains of Norway and the deep ecology, meaning ecology, nature before economy. When with the wisdom of nature speaks to us, we understand that, yeah, when we stand in front of a big mountain like K2 and we look at it, we can see that we are small up north of Pakistan. So, yes, over to you, ladies. Take a lead.
Sure. You're more than welcome. And the only thing that I really don't know, well, one thing is flying and the other one is skiing. So be my instructor. This is what I can say. This is what I can say, because this is the only thing that I don't do. The rest I can. So the thing
That's
is
good.
like,
That's good.
this
That's
is
good.
going to be fun if you come over here, so we can make a program and invite you over by the January. How about that?
How?
So
How
that's a
about that?
good
I would
idea,
love it.
Sadaf. And
Well,
yes, because it's going to be snow and the three Powerpuff Girls, and plus a powerful man, Mr. Ijaz, over there with us. This is going to be an amazing journey. So anyhow, Sadaf, say something.
Yeah, I would like Mr. Jas his closing
So
remarks for the COP28, which is happening in Dubai. Thank you, Mr. Jas, for joining an interesting
Thank you
topic.
very much. Thank you very much, Sadaf. Actually, not only that it provides us an opportunity to reconnect after a gap, because you were, relocated to
Yeah, some
UK.
technical.
Although we were connected virtually, but we could not undertake any project recently. But I am really excited to be reconnected, and the invitation that we have given stands valid, ma'am Ingrid, for you. We will be anxiously looking forward for you, and be our guest, enjoy the hospitality, and be around in the mountains, ski like a free bird.
I will. I have to go out skiing right away, even in Norway now. I'm looking at the 30 centimeters of powder. It's blue sky here in Norway, and it's really good. And also, as you said correctly, and our colleague and partner in It's For You, David Coe, the first stage is to create awareness among the people in tourism. Resources is not the issue in Pakistan. It is only the awareness, and that will get people pouring into large numbers. And I tell you something, the way we expressed that was that it's snowballing. It's like an avalanche coming together. And that is the It's For You. We wanted to reach large numbers. And this is indeed thanks to the team and the ladies, Irum and Sadaf, as part of the global team.
Sadaf.
So we like to come there as soon as we can, and ski like a free bird. What that joy that brings! Can you imagine? It's the dancing down the hills and the beauty of the snow and frozen water is something that speaks dear to my heart. As up here in the north of Europe, where we already have snow and it's 20 degrees up in the highlands, and it's beautiful. What can I say? It's a hot topic on a hotter planet. Will we ski tomorrow? Yes, I hope so. But in the desert, you will not ski. But in Kenya, in Mount Kilimanjaro, there is snow. There is climate and weather is strange, but we will enjoy what we do, and we'll count our blessing and have gratitude for what we can do together. And I also have a gratitude closing before we really close, and it's for you, my dear friend, Mr. Malik. I will share it for you. It is the story about I hope it's the mountain. It's K2, and I can also see that my dear friend Mr. Ahmad Jafri is on. So this is also for you, Mr. Ahmad, and I'm going to.
Assalamu alaikum.
Hello. Anger, can you hear me?
So it's all for you. Thanks
Welcome
to you.
aboard, sir. How are you? So we have Mr. Ammar Jafri with us and two inspiring men who empower women. And I guess
you really do. You really do.
I'm so happy to see all of you together. Sadaf, I'm really very sorry because I was traveling so much and I was in, and this system doesn't work on the cell phone. So again, I'm really very sorry. So
That's okay. So we are. Thank you so much for joining. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Ijaz Malik, who's been kind enough for joining a very important subject: sustainable tourism potential in Pakistan. Sir, I hope your session was very good for our online viewers, and we'll be in touch. We'll meet soon. We are working together for a Pakistan, for a better Pakistan, for a better future. So thank you so much, Mr.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's amazing to see you, and it's been a 3 hour session now for live from Pakistan. I will be connecting back to
Yeah.
Kenya,
I
to
would like
Oslo.
to. Yeah, sorry. So we just have 10 minutes. Mr. Mar has been kind enough to join. So my question to you, because you've been very active recently on cybersecurity, innovation, technology, that's your core subject, close to your heart. How do you see how you integrate technology into climate awareness? COP28, Dubai is happening. There's so many startups happening, very success stories from your students. I see them, I follow them. Is playing a very important role from Pakistan's perspective and global perspectives, because you quite travel to China and all these countries as an international speaker. How can we bring AI and technology for climate awareness programs all across the world?
Thank you, Sadaf, for inviting me, first of all. I would like to express that AI is a technology. It can be used for anything. It's being used for health, for education, for empowerment. So climate change is a big challenge for the world. And I think AI can play a very big role. Let me explain in very basic words that AI works on data, right? So we are very much interested that whatever damage has been done to the world through this climate change, so what would be the damage in next year, from next to next year, and blah blah blah, right? So this is only possible if we have the reliable data. The problem in Pakistan is that our organizations are working in silos. This is very important. And we know we need to capture the data about climate change. So, where is the data about climate change? I think every activity which is being monitored, like let me explain briefly. For example, in some of the countries, in our neighboring countries, there are sensors in the mountains. There are sensors near the seaside. There are sensors in the locations where expectedly this flood can come. All these sensors provide data to a central database, which make a fusion of the information, and based on that fusion of information, there's a accurate information. Then they predict that after 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, there'll be so much of rain in this region. There'll be this climate in this region. So we handle the climate proactively. So that you know that we take actions when actual damage has been done. Then our law enforcement go there, then our NGOs go there. So all our strategy in Pakistan right now is reactive. We all together, working together for the last so many years on SDGs. I'm very positive that SDG can play a very role into it, because if we see SDG 13, it talks about climate change. Raw. If we see the targets and indicators of SDG 13, it exactly explains what I'm saying right now. That data must be captured. So my humble submission to all your valuable audience is that following SDG 13, its targets and indicators, we must involve universities, organizations, government relevant departments to, to input reliable data. And based on data, AI can identify the patterns, AI can identify the trends, AI can do wonder. Because to my understanding in AI, you, it can be very easily said that in Pakistan, we have every required qualification, resources, whatever the world has. The problem here is, which we like Iram, like Sadaf, you, and I am sure Anger is also with us in this effort. We must endeavor to put all the resources in one frame, and every organization must be informed that this is your role into it. So collectively, we can save this world. Collectively, we can save the marginalized communities in our country. Collectively, we can create that impact, that fusion, which can translate our isolated efforts into a tangible results. So this is my basic response to your first question. Again, I'm ready for the next question.
Inger, I'll ask you because we just have 5 minutes. Thank you, David M., who's joining all the way from Kenya. He's been very kind enough, patient to hear us for 3 hours, giving us the technical support. Over to you, Inger. Your question to Mr. Amar regarding innovation and technology for environmental climate challenges that the global world is facing. Inger, you're muted.
It is about communication and to reach out to the global citizenship of humanity. And I think what you have done, Amar Jafri, my dear friend, Shukriya, thank you so much for all what you have done. And rightly said from Sadaf and Irum, you are giving, empowering women. And in this media world of today, how would you think that the best advice for us, all of us, to leverage the climate message beyond climate activists, but to ordinary people in Pakistan and around the world? What is your ultimate message?
Thank you, Anger. I think we all need to understand, me also, that the 80% skills required are communication skills. So I'm not, when I say communication, doesn't mean like speaking English or anything else. It means that we should understand the other party's point of view, right? So in communication skills, in Pakistan, everybody is working, right? But why they are not aggregating their initiatives are that we are not understanding each other. This is very important. I think for the last 4 days, there have been a Connected Pakistan conference here. I was there. So I see a noise in Pakistan. We need to convert this noise into music. No one entity can create music unless we do not work together. Sadaf, daily almost, you can see my Facebook. I go to at least 3 organizations. I can hardly sleep for 4 hours, and remaining 20 hours is being spent. And my only humble effort for the last so many years is to create a good impact for Pakistan, right? Again, my message to the women community is through this program that women can play a very vital role. Why and how? Because woman is a central figure in the family, right? We have started a program, and I think all of you must be knowing about it, Plants for Prosperity. In this, it is a cross-cutting. It is addressing climate, it is addressing SDG 1 and 2, it's addressing SDG 8. So we need to start the new initiatives which could give money to the people at the marginalized communities. At the same time, they must address the climate change. Because such a huge funding for climate change, which is again $1 billion, cannot be pushed by one entity. Either it's a government or it's some donor or it's some, even the governments like America, Canada, Japan, all these governments. So we'll have to think some strategy in which the empowered women must come forward, take up as projects like Plants for Prosperity. We are doing it in Pakistan, and I think, Anger, you know about it. You have been in 1 or 2 sessions. In such projects, there is no funding from anyone. There's a we are starting from one plant which is badly needed in Pakistan. You know, my worry is that the nutrition problem should not be in the rural areas. Traditionally, there has never been, because there were pure milk, pure butter, everything was pure wheat, everything. Again, we are having. This means that this issue of non-nutrition is again affecting the rural population. So we should not rely upon the funding from the donors, funding from the organizations. Okay, fine. If we get it, we can handle it. But we focus on self-sustained activity. And
Great.
self-activities is only and only possible that when we work together, let me repeat again, together, within a framework, within a target. Thank you. Daily on 8 p.m. I am on Zoom, even today. So anybody, everybody has the same link on Zoom. I'll be very happy if you join today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, whenever you have some time. Right? Thank
Thank
you
you,
very much.
sir. Thank you so much.
You have been
David M.,
always
before we close the session,
kind to
I
me.
want David M. from Kenya, Nairobi, to ask his question regarding innovation and technology. David M., are you there with us?
Yeah, I'm here, Sadaf. I
We're
hope you can
zooming
hear
in
me.
from, we can hear you well and loud. Just ask your question. We can hear you loud.
So it's for you, it's for me, and it's for everyone. David, ask your question.
If
Maybe
David
you
will not ask, I will ask question from David.
I think it's the
Okay.
line.
David.
It's the line.
It's the line.
We're
Yeah.
excited.
Iram, your closing remarks.
Okay.
The most important thing is we are together, we are holding hands, and this is the yellow logo. It is like come together, it's for everyone in the cities, in the countryside, in the schools that you are, in your street, at home, in the kitchen, around the fireplace. And you rightly you said, Amar, we have been working with music, and this is the music for you, and the voices from our team in Kenya. We put it up for you to listen a bit, and then we will close the session for the day. This is a greeting.
Transformational ownership, yeah. Hey yo, listen, everyone, you are welcome to the party. Dreaming of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now, yeah.
Woo! That was good. This has been our day.
Yes, it's
Thanks
been a
all
day.
the
And because it's, yes, Sadaf, please go ahead.
Iram, your closing remarks. We are still live, so it's okay. Go ahead.
So very much. As I say that it's for you, it's for me, and it's for everyone. We should all be standing together and doing some amazing work as the AI.
And we love glitches in the tech world. Thank you from Irum from Islamabad. Line is cutting off. It's for her, it's for me, it's for you.
Sadaf, I still remember your tech team. So I think your tech team should be here, and you can see your tech team right now. I can show it to you. Your tech team is sitting here. Can you wave to? And we are all
Hi,
waiting for you.
everyone.
We're all
So,
waiting.
for the online viewers, it
So-
was a very interesting discussion today. It was the fourth day of COP28. We are running It's For You global campaign. It's for me, it's for you, it's for everyone. Stay tuned for further updates. Thanks, Inger. Thanks, Iram. Thanks, Mr. Mav Jafri. Thanks, David Ebb, all the way from Nairobi, Kenya. We had a very interesting discussion. Stay tuned. After 1 hour, we're going to log in soon live. Bye from Islamabad, Pakistan.
Bye-bye from Norway. Bye-bye from Kenya.
Bye-bye from
Thank you,
Karachi.
everyone.